All right, welcome back. It is the Vegas Take Sharp and Shapiro on a Tuesday. Quick reminder, we got the Hollywood conservative, Mr. X, Hollywood producer, who is a big Trump supporter, going to be joining us here at the bottom of the hour. Jim Gemma from the Aviators coming up in hour number 3. Some really cool stories involving the Oakland A's and the Aviators. We'll get to that coming up in just a little bit, but it is time for the news with KDWN news anchor John Schaefer. John, what's going on?
Hello, John.
Good morning, gentlemen. Well, a complaint was filed yesterday against Clark County School District Superintendent Jesus Jarrett. It claims that a month before he announced the cuts from the budget, he bought a Peloton bike for $2,400 and expensed it to the district through his health and wellness allowance. The ethics complaint was filed with the state. It accuses Jarrett of being oblivious to the problems of the students and staff by expensing such a bike. They argue that with a $320,000 yearly salary plus other perks, he could afford to pay for it himself. His contract, however, does allow him to be reimbursed for expenses related to health and wellness that are not covered by district insurance up to $5,000 each year.
Hold on. What did he buy again? What?
One of those Peloton bikes. It's $2,400.
And what is his position?
He's the superintendent of the school district.
He's the superintendent, so he's making a lot of money.
Yeah, he makes $320,000
$300K a year.
How much does this bike cost?
$2,400.
And he wrote it off to the district?
Yeah, he had the district pay for it.
So the question is, what else has been written off to the district?
What, are you going to go into a 7-Eleven and buy a Slurpee?
Well, I mean, John Brookhagen came in and said, hey, I want to do an audit of this district that spent $4.2 billion last year, yet remains number 2 worst in the country.
I just want to think about this for a second. A guy that makes $330,000 a year, he's the superintendent of schools. We have one of the worst school systems in the country, and he decides to buy a bike that's worth $2,400 and write it off to the school district. And then we wonder why the right decisions aren't being made in the school district.
That is correct.
Okay, go ahead, John.
The AAA National Championship Baseball game is going to be held at Las Vegas Ballpark next year. The Las Vegas Aviators made the announcement along with minor league president Pat O'Connor. Champion from the Pacific Coast League will challenge a champion from the International League in a winner-take-all matchup. Fox Sports will carry the game, showcasing Las Vegas as a thriving sports city.
And Jim Gemma from the Aviators will be talking about that in hour number 3.
Sweet. Las Vegas monorail funding and construction plans may be derailed after Nevada Governor Steve Sisolak declined state backing for a $200 million tax-exempt bond. Monorail company administrators sought the funds to pay off a recent $13 million loan and to build new stops near Mandalay Bay and the future site of a sphere-shaped arena near the Venetian.
I like that because we definitely need more arenas now in Las Vegas,
so
right? We got 12 already?
I think we have 15. I'd like to see 25 if that's possible.
Yeah, but it looks like the monorail will not be extending to Mandalay Bay, so figure out how to get to the stadium on your own.
Oh, boy.
That's not going to happen.
As long as it doesn't mess up the road to L.A.
The road to L.A.?
Yeah.
You mean the highway?
The fast-speed train to L.A. that's being...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, don't buy your tickets anytime soon.
It's not going to happen.
I know a lot of people that need a high-speed train to Victorville. Can't think of a better place to go.
Victorville. When there's no other place in the world I'd rather hang out than Victorville.
Lincoln County commissioners have pre-signed a declaration of emergency for those 2 events being staged in and around Rachel, Nevada, the weekend of September 20th to 22nd. They stem from the Storm Area 51 phenomenon. Commissioners also conditionally approved 2 event permits, one for Alien Stock to be held at the Little Alien in Rachel, and one for ufology to be held at the Alien Research Center about 45 minutes away. Between the 2 events, an estimated 40,000 people could converge on Lincoln County, which has a population of only 5,000 people total.
I want to play this audio clip. So we have Kerry Lee, Lincoln County Sheriff. He's commenting on what you just talked about, the resources and anticipation of these large crowds at Storm Area 51. Johnny, go ahead and run that.
We're reaching out to all of our partners, federal and state, local agencies, finding out what resources they'd be able to send. So we're reaching out. We're not just trying to say Southern Nevada. We're looking out for the whole entire state. And there again, we don't know what to plan for. We're only planning for the worst and hoping for the best.
All right. Well, here's what I think is going to happen. I think since there's a music festival and there's going to be some stuff going on in that 48 hours.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if you got maybe 5,000 people. Maybe 3,000 to 5,000. I don't think there's going to be any more than that. That's just my opinion. I understand that they want to be safe. They want to make sure that all their resources are in place. I get all that. I think it's going. I don't think anyone's going to storm Area 51. It's not going to happen. I think it's just a celebration or people just having a good time. I think they're going to be selling some food. They're going to be listening to music, and I think it's going to be over with, and it's going to be a letdown. That's what I think is going to happen.
Yeah, like he said, they're going to prepare for the worst, but they're hoping for the best.
But I have heard that they do have good burgers there because you said you have frequented that establishment.
I have.
Yeah, Alien Burgers. I've always wanted to know what an alien tasted like.
Kanye West told us verbatim that the Alien Burger is world class.
Did he really? Well, I would listen to anything Kanye West says because he seems like a very intelligent person. Anyway.
Love having my name and Kanye West's name in the same sentence.
Yeah, that's great.
Fantastic.
News anchor John Schaefer and musician, in quotations, Kanye West. All right, Mr. Schaefer, thank you as always, my friend.
See ya.
We appreciate it. We'll have to monitor this Area 51 situation. I do know that the motel is booked, so if you want to call up and even if you offer $30,000 for a motel room, you will be declined. You needed to call in advance, and it would have cost you $59.95. So sorry about that. But we will continue to monitor this
I still
story.
cannot believe that.
This is a story that I can't believe this. Speaking of you can't believe it, that there are idiots that are, I don't care if you're 14 years old or 44 years old, another group of high school students caught on video giving the Nazi salute. That's right. This time, the 8-second video appears to show students from Pacifica High School. Sounds like a very nice school. They're doing a great job with those kids over there. It's in Garden Grove, California. They're singing a Nazi marching song while raising their arms in a Nazi salute. The video was first obtained by the Daily Beast. We've put it up on our Twitter page at The Vegas Take. The video was filmed in November 2018 before an after-hours off-campus student athletics banquet. I don't know, quite frankly, if there were any adults in the room. If there were any adults in the room, they should immediately be fired and reprimanded. Immediately. This is not the first time this has happened, okay? High school students in Newport Beach, California, were at a party earlier this year laughing as they raised their arms in the Nazi salute next to a swastika made of plastic cups. Now, if you ask Tucker Carlson, white supremacy, the idea of white supremacy, it's just a hoax. How the hell is Tucker Carlson still on the air, by the way, when you make an ignorant remark like that? Is there anybody out there that thinks white supremacy is a hoax? Unless you're not a member of the KKK, is there anybody out there? For God's sakes, even racist would white supremacy is out there. It is. I would love to talk to these kids' parents. What do these parents think of this? You know, let me ask this. If you got a 17 or 18-year-old kid that is saluting using the Nazi sign and singing Hitler songs, what do you think the parents are doing? What do you think is said behind closed doors about, African Americans and Jewish people? Now, is it 100%? Is it a fact that the parents are helping these kids and doing these things? No. But it would not surprise me if some of the parents were leading the way, so to speak. So what should happen to a kid that is seen on video at a high school event singing Nazi songs? You ask me, I think they should be expelled. I think it's that bad. It's no worse or better than using the N-word on video to a student. It's no worse than, in my opinion, threatening other students. I believe you should be expelled if you are dumb enough. Don't tell me 15, 16, 17 years old, they're just kids, they're just being kids. No. It never happened in my school. I never heard anyone, sing out Hitler songs, praising Hitler, saluting doing the Nazi salute. I never saw that growing up. Didn't happen where I come from. So what should happen? So in a statement that was made, it says Garden Grove Unified School District and Pacifica High School strongly condemn a video recorded last year of some students who engaged in offensive Nazi-related gestures. Yeah. No crap. They also went on to say Pacifica High School, along with our other district schools, will be working with students, staff, and parents to continue to address these issues in the fall in collaboration with agencies dedicated to anti-bias education. Well, that's not going to resolve anything. These kids need to be punished.
I'll tell you one thing. They should definitely be put on some type of red flag list so they can't purchase any type of weapon.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's without saying.
That's an absolute given.
That's without saying, but you cannot tell me that this is not a growing problem in society. You've got these dumb kids, these hateful, ignorant, use whatever word you want, racist kids, anti-Semitic people.
Well, it's extremist views.
Well, it's one thing to have an extremist view. It's another thing to be saluting Hitler and the Nazis. And some of these kids are probably so stupid, they probably don't even realize what Hitler did. They know he's a bad guy, but they probably don't even understand that, 7 million Jews were murdered. massacred. I wonder if these parents are proud of themselves for raising such wonderful kids. What are these parents thinking? Like I said, I would not be surprised if some of these parents have the white Klan outfits in their closet. That would not surprise me at all. These, make no mistake about it, not only this cannot be tolerated, these kids need to be punished. They need to be expelled. If you're putting up the Hitler sign and you're saluting Adolf Hitler and Nazis and you're singing these songs, either a very, very long suspension and a 2-strike you're out rule. You get caught doing anything wrong. You swear at a teacher, you're done. That's what I think should happen to these kids. Again, when you have people like Tucker Carlson go on Fox News and say that the idea of white supremacy is a hoax, he is fueling the fire. Just like I say that when Donald Trump tells people to go back to their country, when Donald Trump laughs off somebody in the crowd saying shoot illegals, when Donald Trump goes after people of color on a consistent basis, he is adding fuel to the fire. Tucker Carlson has done the same thing when it comes to white supremacy. In Tucker Carlson's view, it's not an issue. Well, tell that to the families of the 22 people who lost their lives in El Paso, in that Walmart.
I would say that his rhetoric, the things he says, his demeanor, the statements he makes, they definitely are more likely to trigger an extremist person on the left and on the right more than any president in the last probably 30 or 40 years. I would absolutely make that statement, and that's what's going on here. You either love Donald Trump or you hate him. And if you're already extremist in one direction, you're going to follow that. And that's exactly what's taking place with these kids.
I've been very consistent on Donald Trump since
I'm not going to blame him for it, but just the way that he talks and how blunt he is with his approach and how much of a non-politician he is, it either makes you it doesn't create action, but it is taking people out of the woodwork on both sides.
I've been very consistent on Donald Trump from the beginning. 95% of the reason why I think the man is a scumbag, 95% of the reason why I think that I can't stand the guy has nothing to do with politics. You know, yeah, there are some policies I don't like. 95% of the reason why I despise Donald Trump is because of the human being that he is. And I give many examples of that.
You also have to ask yourself this. There is a microscope right now on these type of situations. And is it possible that in a country with 360 million people that 3 kids are doing this? Absolutely. So it kind of matches the times. It's not a coincidence that this particular story is being published the way that it is.
You don't think it's
and promoted via the media.
You don't think it's a coincidence that hold on.
I'm just suggesting that this isn't a coincidence.
Okay, well, let me ask you this.
This story is getting this much pub considering what's going on right now.
Okay, I understand that, but let me ask.
The fact that 85 or 90% of the media is biased against Donald Trump.
Why is it then, JD, that hate crimes are up 18% since Donald Trump took office? You don't think that? You just think that's just a coincidence?
Like I said, I think that the way that he talks and some of the things that he says are appealing in a negative or a positive way to extremist views.
So you agree that he plays a role in this? In white supremacy? Some of these kids that are deciding to...
I don't think that he is directly to blame. I think that the things that he does and the things that he says appeal either in a negative or a positive way to extremist views, and white supremacy.
What do you mean a positive
is
way?
Obviously.
What has he said that helps these young white kids in a positive way?
No, it's not positive like it's actually assisting them. But they either you love it or you love it or you hate it.
Yeah, maybe positive is the wrong word.
Well, it's not a positive, but I mean it's either you love it or you hate it.
Well, there's a lot of people that love it, apparently.
Of course there are.
You know, is it a coincidence that 3 kids over the weekend were arrested, all white supremacists, by the way, wanting to attack Jews, minorities, wanting to kill as many people as possible? Thanks for the great work of some citizens that phoned in to police, and great job by the great police work, that these 3 are going to go to jail for a while and hopefully will never get an opportunity to do what they planned on doing. Yes, I do believe Donald Trump plays a role in this. Yes, I do believe idiots like Tucker Carlson who go on the air and say hateful rhetoric on a daily basis, on a huge national platform. If you are going to go on your show and you are prepping for your show all day, and make no mistake about it, that is a script that he wrote. I'm talking about Tucker Carlson, and he goes on Fox News, and the dummy goes on and he says, the idea of white supremacists white supremacy is a hoax, that should be grounds for a firing. It is one thing to have an opinion. It is okay to disagree with an opinion. But to me, that is just as bad as saying, hey, guys, there's nothing wrong with saying the N-word. Go ahead and call an African-American the N-word. To me, it's just as bad. And if he said that, he probably would be fired, right? Well, who knows the way Fox News works over there. When you say
no, he would be fired for that.
The idea of white supremacy is a hoax, to me, that is just as bad and just as dangerous. I mean, imagine, JD, you're one of those people that died in the synagogue in Pittsburgh. Imagine you're one of those family members, a father, a mother, a daughter, a son, a brother, a sister. Imagine you're one of those family members still grieving over the loss of one of your loved ones in that Walmart in Texas, El Paso, at the hands of an evil white supremacist. And you turn on the TV. And as you turn on the TV, you hear an idiot by the name of Tucker Carlson say the idea of white supremacy is a hoax. How would that make you feel out there? And this is a guy that is still getting paychecks through Fox News. We need to hold everybody accountable. Everybody. Yes, including the President of the United States. If you want to call CNN fake news and you want to call MSNBC fake news, then you need to be fair. Because find me somebody, an actual anchor that does a show in a primetime spot like Tucker Carlson that has made a comment that outrageous. You need to be consistent. If you want to call CNN fake news and you want to go after people on the left, then you have to be consistent and also go after people on the right. It is those people that want to shut down CNN and MSNBC, but when Tucker Carlson says the idea of white supremacy is a hoax, crickets. Crickets. Whenever a Democrat says something that is outrageous or over the line, like Omar, okay? Omar, in my opinion, she's a freshman congresswoman who's accomplished nothing. She's made anti-Semitic remarks. I think she's an absolute moron. Same thing with Tlaib. But if you're going to go after them for making outrageous, ridiculous comments, you have to do the same thing with the president. And if you don't, then you are something that we would call bias. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back right after this. You're listening to the Vegas Take right here on the all-new 101.5 FM, 720 AM KDWN. All right, welcome back. It is the Vegas Take. Sharp and Shapiro on a Tuesday. Glad you could join us. Coming up here in just a few minutes, we call him Mr. X. There's a reason why. He's a Hollywood conservative, longtime producer in L.A., but he is fearful of giving out his name because he is a Trump supporter. He talks a little bit, we had him on last week, he talks a little bit about the struggles he has to go through in Hollywood, not being able to speak his mind, and he said he's lost jobs because of his skin color and because of his political views. But I do want to get to plenty of stories with him in regards to his boy Donald Trump. You know, Trump falsely claiming that Google manipulated millions of 2016 votes. It's an absolute lie.
I don't agree with that at all, Brian. I'll tell you why.
Okay.
If you Google Donald Trump, you go to type in Donald Trump on Google.com, and you go to the news. In the first 21 pages, you will not find one positively titled article about Donald Trump, nor will you find one article from Breitbart, Fox News, or any media outlet that covers Donald Trump positively. Now, how is that possible when Fox News...
That's not true. Fox News does.
No. You won't find any articles in the first 21 pages of Google. When you type in Google Donald Trump, you go to the news section, the first 20 pages are all negative, and none are from any of his news outlets that cover him positively. Not one.
Where is the proof, though, that Google manipulated votes?
That's proof right there. How is that not proof?
So you think because if they...
Google has a giant bias against Donald Trump, and I'm sure that would fall over into the election.
It's not the media's job to kiss Donald Trump's ass.
I'm not suggesting that.
It's their job to cover the news.
But Fox News is the number one... They have 3 of the top 5 radio shows and 2 of the top 5 TV shows.
But this is back in 2016. We're not talking about now.
It's been that way for the last 5 years. There's nothing new about this. I'm saying if you the listeners right now, if you go to Google.com, type in Donald Trump, go to the news, the first 20 articles will have negative connotations towards him, and none of them will be from Fox or Breitbart or any organization, any media outlet that positives him consistently or that covers him positively.
Here's the problem. Donald Trump said that he believes Google manipulated anywhere between 2.6 million to 16 million votes. There is absolutely no proof.
16 seems high.
Okay, but there's no proof. And he says things out of his ass or out of his orange hair that are not true. And you can't do that as the president of the United States. Same thing with the Clintons, saying that the Clintons were possibly involved in this Epstein death. You can't say things like that. It's one thing if some troll on social media or even somebody like me or you. It's one thing if we say stuff like that. It's another thing when you are the president of the United States. This is a whole different ballgame. And that is my issue. The president cannot say things like that unless he has 100% proof. He talks about, and by the way, quickly before we go to break, he was asked about gun control in New Jersey the other day. And he switched the gun control debate and started talking about Google because he's an idiot. And then the reporter said, what does that have to do with gun control? We're talking about people that have died. We're talking about mass shootings. And what does the president decide to flip the question and answer into? About how, Google manipulated votes. It is ridiculous. We got to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to be talking to Mr. X, Hollywood conservative. You're listening to the Vegas Take, 101.5 FM, 720 AM KDWN.